I got an email from Jackson, who is going to CincyCon in Ohio. And CincyCon has a 18, sorry, not an 18, 850 point limit and 12 order dice cap. Generic reinforced platoons only. So, and he sent me two lists, a version 1 and a version 2, of his Italian list. So we're going to see what he's bringing for CincyCon. Here we go. Now, when you have a 12 order dice cap at 850, I think you should hit that cap. And Jackson does. 12 order dice here, 850. The reason being that, of course, you want to be able to control the order dice in the bag, and you, if you go below that, it becomes difficult, especially in low point games where there aren't that many dice in the bag in the first place. So it like losing those dice becomes proportionately more important. So going for 12 order dice is a good thing. So that's one thing. Choosing Italians for any event is, of course, brave, to say the least. So you're going to have to make very, very good competitive choices, and you're going to have good tactics if you want to not just get obliterated in the tournament. And I know Jackson is more maybe of a painter. He also is trying to get best painted with his Italians here, which you can definitely do. Italians can look really pretty. But they are a difficult nation to win with. So if you also want to win games, that can be difficult. So what's he bringing? He's bringing a second lieutenant, inexperienced, paying attacks. Then a cavalry section, a 9-man cavalry section mounted. Veteran, I don't think they need to be 9 men. Jackson, go and watch my video on cavalry tactics. It's in the videos here on my channel. 9 men is too much and too little in some respects. 9 men is not enough to go up against dedicated assault units, Polish lancers or Gurkhas or Japanese fanatics. You're going to struggle against those anyway. Soviet body armored SMG dudes or with a flamethrower, you're going to struggle, right? So it's not enough. The 9 men, because you're just tough fighter veterans. So what and it's overkill, way overkill for what they most likely will be used for hunting. They'll be used to hunt smaller units, regular units, inexperienced units of approximately the same size, because they can beat those in close combat. So that is the hunting ground for these cavalrymen. And for that, you don't need 9. You can do with 8, maybe even 6. So I would cut down at least 1 dude from your veteran squad here and use them for something else, those points. And the first thing I would do away with is the shirkers on the inexperienced infantry section. And yeah, he even has 2 of those. I would not, since the latest FAQ, I would not use shirkers. Because shirkers now are just leave the battlefield at 4 pins. And that's just too easy for the enemy to get. And it's even worse because you're playing Italians. So you can't, because of your national special rules, you can't really afford to take those losses. You can't really afford to have shirkers leave the battlefield, because that will immediately handicap you. So I would never ever play shirkers. Before the FAQ, I know some people who did and were successful doing it, but after the FAQ, sorry, no, it's not worth the points that you save. I would even, cut down on the size of these inexperienced infantry dudes. If you can cut them down to 5 men each and then do away with the shirker, that would be fine. Or spend some of the points that you're saving on a single cavalryman. That'll be fine. But that will mean that the unit is a lot more survivable and a lot less vulnerable. Paratroopers, yes, they're really good. They're even better when you do them late war, but then the theme goes out the door. Late war, they can get infinite. They can get Panzerfausts, I think. Um, they've got Stobben, they've got machine guns, so they are pretty good. But 6 men veterans are again just they're just a push unit. They can die. So the real the real threat here in this list is, of course, the Guastatori. Double flamethrowers in a an engineer unit is amazing. It is really strong and is very, very dangerous for the enemy. This is an engineer unit on crack. It's really, really good. And they can take out any target that you aim them at because you've got the 2 shots, right? You've got 2 flamethrowers, so you're pretty much certain to hit them with at least one. And if you're feeling brave and lucky, you might even split fire, taking out 2 units at once. Perfect. So the Guastatoris can punch well above their weight. Then we have the medium inexperienced mortar. Yes, very, very good. Anti-tank rifle team. You often need that for Italians because they haven't got that much anti-tank capability, and especially if you're not taking late war paras, then yeah, you're going to need the anti-tank rifle. It's not good, but it's there. And it's a cheap order dice as well, so you can spend more on other stuff. Light howitzer, regular with a gun shield. You might actually get away with making this inexperienced as well if you want to have extra points for your infantry. Most of the time, well, it depends on your terrain, doesn't it? Most of the time, I think this howitzer is going to shoot indirectly anyway. If you're going to shoot indirectly and you're not using a spotter, you might as well be inexperienced. It won't matter much. So if you can, maybe think about that. The L6, yes, I know Italy players who really like that one. It is good. Um, the autocannons are really good in the current meta for most of the world. So yeah, and that because it's an 8+, it can definitely take out Stewards and yeah other vehicles of that sort. It's tracked as well, so basically it's a Panzer Lux Panzer II, right? And then we have the M15/42. That is the darker tank of the Germans and Italians. It's got 20 shots of MMG and 1 light anti-tank gun. So basically a Steward. It's a little bit more expensive because of those extra shots. So 145 points, 10 points more expensive, but it's got a few extra shots, so not a big problem. And it's not vulnerable. It's 8+. It's a very, very good, very, very competitive tank. And finally, a truck, of course, for the Guastatoris, and it's got 12-man capacity. So what I'm thinking is that he'll put the Guastatoris. You've got 6 of those, and you've got 6 paratroopers as well. So those go into that truck as a sort of problem solver. Throwing that against some target, you might deliver a few pins with the paras, and then the Guastatoris will clean house after that. Very good list. Just the one thing I dislike is those shirkers. That is the only thing I think I definitely would change. Thank you so much, Jackson, for sending your list, and good luck at CincyCon. Cheers.